Techno. Hollywood.
Yeah, what episode is this? 10, right?
Number 10, the double dig.
We made it to 10. It's
now
good.
we can quit.
Exactly. Now, one day we'll say like, hey, number 100. It's going to be a couple years
And
from now.
Rogan's
Think
on
about
like 2,000 or something, almost 2,000.
It's crazy, yeah. It's like, it's 1,900 something. It's like, I mean, he's been doing it for how long now? 10 years?
10
no,
years,
at least,
12 years? Something.
At least, yeah. Must be. But he does like one every 2 weeks.
He does 2 a week, I think, or 3 a week.
2 a week, right? Yeah. Crazy.
At least 2, yeah.
Crazy.
Maybe that's
I mean,
smart.
who can
Like,
keep
how
up?
come no one else is doing 2 a week?
Yeah, because you have to have the guest like he does. You have to have the, you have to be like, you have to have the time and the effort and the team and everything. I think it's kind of hard for him to do like 3-4 hour sit down. I guess, I don't know. Like it's,
But he's doing 2 a week.
No one else. Yeah.
No one else is with their 1 hour pod is doing more than one a week. I guess we'd run out of stuff to talk about if we did 2 a week.
Yeah, it can be, and because if you don't have guests, I guess, like I think the guests help in a way. But anyways, we don't have a guest tonight, today, and that's fine. So
I love this pod because there's no guests. Like it's the guests, because also the guests are random. It's like, oh, they said something weird, and you have to edit that out, and then you're like, oh, and then with you, it's like there's no issues. I just like edit, and I'm done.
You're done, yeah. But I can say some more controversial stuff. Just kidding. Maybe we should like get it up a little spicier. But then we're gonna get at least that. I thought about this. If I name some names, obviously, in the music business, I'm not gonna get invited to some of these events anymore because they're gonna be like scared that some shit happens, and then I'll talk about it too much. Like. We'll see.
I mean, that's like so far down the line to think.
I know. I guess.
Yeah. I think you can name like maybe like not people directly, but like an indirect. Yeah. Like I thought the Anderson Paak stuff was fine.
Yeah,
he's never going to listen to this.
Yeah, one day he will.
No, but he's not going to go back to episode 10.
I know.
He'll pick it up in episode 500.
Yeah, and we're gonna have to invite him. Then he's gonna want to be on our podcast. That's the goal.
Yeah, I was actually, my friend told me about this podcast called Smartless. We probably shouldn't be promoting other people's pods, but
why not?
It's Jason Bateman, Will Arnett, and some other guy. And it's actually, there's a threesome, and they do like a little bit together, and then they have a guest every time. But they get like huge guests. Like I saw it because we were talking about John Wick, and then they had one with Keanu Reeves. They had like,
of course,
I don't know, just big people. Like you name them. They're on it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because
it's all
people
on Amazon.
Yeah, and people still say like, I mean, of course, you're always gonna have the haters like, why do you do a podcast? These things are over. But I feel like every week there's a new person coming up with a podcast, right? I mean, it's like
they
with
said
music.
It was over
I guess
5 years ago. So like,
that's
it's not.
The thing,
everything is over, but it's also.
And everything's there, everything's on and everything's off because I mean, with music. You feel like, okay, there's 100,000 songs released every day to Spotify. So is that a sign to give up on music or to not record songs and do music? Or like, do you realize, okay, out of the 100 million tracks on Spotify, 30 million have like 5 listens, 5 streams or less. So not even the closest friends or their grandmas are listening, like that's
actually a great example because the music one is like, there's no first mover advantage on Spotify, but there's no first mover advantage on Instagram or YouTube or podcasting. But it doesn't mean you can't still do well if you have good stuff. It might be harder or like you have to approach it differently. But I was thinking we need some different goals. Like we got to get we need a sponsor now. Like it's time to, I think by episode 20, let's aim to have a sponsor. So
yeah, as first little one. I guess
a little one,
like to the right one.
Maybe just like the ice cream, the shop down the street in Berlin. Hey,
exactly.
it's Gates. It's $1. If you're in the neighborhood in Prenzlauer Berg, you can get €1 glass, 2 scoops for €2. Kids eat free.
I might have an idea there for like
you just start making up ads that don't exist. It's free food if you come on Tuesday at TGI Fridays because no one comes on Tuesday and everyone shows up. Well, 100 people show up.
Yeah, but it would be fun. So, anyways, how is life in LA right now? Like,
it's good. There's it's pollen city now. There was so much rain that the city is not prepared for, and now it's just a pure.
That's why you sound like you sound like
I'm
you
so congested. Like you walk outside, and I'm gonna put up some photos. The ground is yellow.
Wow.
Like it's just insane.
Because of what? Because of the crazy rain or what? Yeah.
I think the rain just made it. There's greenery now. It's not a desert, and it's the whole world's upside down.
Okay, crazy.
Yeah, it's like it rained like Vancouver for like.
Yeah, but I'm sure Coachella, LA is kind of empty right now because Coachella is happening, right? I guess a lot of people, but I don't know. Like people, a lot of people from LA, I guess, drive down to Coachella, but a lot of people just pass through in a way, right? And
I don't
go
know
directly to.
Maybe there's like less people at Soho House, but like that's about it.
Yeah, talking about Soho House, here I have a funny house story.
Tell me.
So, so I was at Soho House, just meeting with some friends here in Berlin, and then everyone sort of left. And as usual, no, not as usual, but I sort of got stuck with the bill. Now, I said I invited everyone, and they left because they had to go. So I'm standing there waiting for.
You got stuck with the bill as usual?
Yeah, not as usual.
Because you're the member.
But I'm the member, and then I have to give up my card and everything. And then, anyways, I was there waiting for someone to. The service is not the best. Let's put it this way. So I was waiting there, and I get a tap on my shoulder, and there's this like young girl, I would say like about 20, and I was like, okay, hi, and then she's like, hi, I just have a question, and you can say no. Also, it's not a problem, but could you invite me to a beer? I'm like, what? Like she just randomly asked me if I want to invite her to a beer. And downstairs there was a party, and I think she snuck up to the member section, to the top floor.
Okay.
And then she was looking around, and she's like, what is this place? And I'm like, I guess I tried to explain the concept to her. I was like, it's like a members club, like for the creatives, blah, blah. And she's like, why would anyone be here? It's so expensive, everything. I'm like, yeah, I guess, like, anyways. And I'm like, the bartender came like, okay, what kind of beer do you want? She's like, if I may, maybe a big one, a large one. I'm like, yeah, sure. Why not? And I just bought her a beer. This is all in German language.
This is amazing.
And then I gave her a beer. And then she was like politely stood there, like asked me another 2 questions or something. But then as I said, the bill came to me, and on the bill there were like 4 or 5 drinks too much on there. The bill was way too high because some people either forgot to, or the bartender messed it up. So I was busy talking, and then she just looked at me. Okay, anyways, thanks. I'm gonna go to my friends, and she just left. I'm like, okay, cool, But I think like it's cool to have the nerve to just randomly go up and be very specific. Hey, can you buy me a beer?
But that wasn't even the term. It was like, can you make me a beer? Like, what was it? Like,
no. Can you buy me a beer?
Oh, can you buy me a beer?
Basic. Yeah, can you buy me a beer? And the thing is, like, I feel like, okay, beer, like, I was expecting like a normal, like champagne or long drink, something more sweet, but a beer is like kind of okay.
Well, she aimed low, and so she got it. If she said, hey, can you get me a triple vodka, right, whatever, you'd be like, no, that's like $48.
Yeah, I know.
You're like, so $6, let's see what this is about.
And then I upgraded her to a large beer, so
okay, so you're upgrading them. And then she left, and she's like, yeah. Now she tells the story. I met the guy from Techno Hollywood, and he bought me a beer.
I know it's some sucker. He bought me a beer. Like, it's okay. But I actually felt nice because she apparently really didn't have the money, and she was kind of shocked that she was in this place, or she was just cheap. Who knows? But she was like, and she was very polite. And then I was like, okay, sure, I'll buy you a beer. It's like $5 or whatever.
Sometimes like you get these things happen. You're like, I just want to see what's going to happen next. So let's go with it.
I know. I was like, maybe she would anyways, and yeah. So that was a fun moment. And then also talking about alcohol, I was at a friend's place the other they like a couple, and we were gonna go out. And then she said, like, come by my boyfriend's place first, and I've never been there. And I think she's, can they make us a drink or something? I'm like, yeah, sure, yeah. Because some people have a bar.
Why are you the bartender for the world? Everyone's like, this guy knows how to drink.
No, I don't know. No, I wasn't the bartender. Like her boyfriend is a bartender. Okay. He's not even a bartender. She just said, come by. He has some drinks here. It's gonna be fun. And I'm like, okay, cool. And then I came there and we were about to go out. Actually, we wanted to go to some other place, but then he started making drinks and he had a cocktail book. And he's like, yeah, pick anyone. We're like, what do you mean anyone? I mean, there were like hundreds of cocktails in there. And then I went to, he showed me, follow me to the kitchen. And he had like literally like 40, 50 bottles of different alcohol in his kitchen. You know, I was like a full, I think he had more alcohol than a fully stocked bar. You know?
Wow.
I was like, wow.
Was it presented well, or was it just all over the place?
Yeah, no, all like a little bit organized. There's some gin, some whiskeys, some vodka.
Does he have a mustache? Because
No, he didn't. Why?
Because like a mustache bartender with like the shirt and the
with the shirt with the straps and stuff. No. Yeah, he's kind of a Dutch guy. You know?
Dutch?
No, he didn't. Yeah, he's Dutch.
A pancake and do you like gold?
No, and then he was like telling me all about these drinks. And then we started making some cool, I mean, there's apparently so much vermouth and different Camparis and bitters and herbal liquors. It all boils down to a couple main ones anyways. And he was very proud and he showed me this thing. It's like, okay, this is a gin, but it's not a gin. It's called, let me see, it's called Genever or something. And it's actually a gin from Holland. And apparently the Dutch claim that they were the first to invent gin, not the British.
Oh.
The Dutch, yeah. There's a big war going on. Like war, I wouldn't call it, but I mean, I don't know if you know about this, but I didn't know. For me, yeah, exactly. Like gin was all about like British drinks to me, like a gin tonic. Like it's very royal
Bombay,
and very
Bombay
British.
And tonic, sapphire,
all that
right?
stuff. Yeah, so but now and the gin was a little darker. It's all from this berry, right? A gin.
Goose.
I mean, I got a lot of alcohol,
right?
No, it's a juniper. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Juniper berry, yeah.
Juniper berries, exactly. Yeah. So that was interesting, and then he had like 10 different Dutch gins because he was all proud that the Dutch, of course, have the gin.
He's just making them in his bathtub. There's no 10 Dutch.
No, but then I googled it. There's really a Dutch gin. There's a movement. Wow. There's like, hey, this is the real gin. This is the good stuff, and it tasted really good. I have to say, it was a little darker the one he had. I think it tastes definitely. I'm not a gin fan.
You had to like it. You're in this crazy person's house. He's like poisoning you with Dutch, like bathtub gin.
So that was a fun thing. And then talking about my week here, I mean, we are still. Hold on,
let's stay on the alcohol thing for a second.
Yeah.
There's a store near me on Ventura. That I went into. It was like this brand new store full of alcohol, and I was like, "Oh, let's just pop in here." And there's like people, and they're doing tastings. And like, "What's this?" They're like, "Oh, this is our gin." And like, I tried it. And I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." They had gin too. This is our whiskey.
Yeah, see, there you go.
And I tried that, and then like, "Oh, this is like." I'm like, "What's like?" I've never seen any of these brands. Like, how can you have a store full of brands I've never seen?
Yeah.
Like, not one. And they're like, "Oh, this is a non-alcoholic alcohol store." So.
Wow! Okay.
I kid you not. The whole store is like vodkas,
gins,
scotch,
there's
gin,
non-alcoholic
all this
wine,
stuff, non-alcoholic to make non-alcoholic spirits.
Yeah.
So they're like on this, and they're just as passionate. They're like, "Here's the book on how you make the spirits, and this is you can go make them at home." And I was like, "Oh, this is crazy!" And it's not like
it's actually good.
It's expensive.
It's probably expensive. Yeah, exactly. Because
it's like $40 a bottle.
Yeah, I had a non-alcoholic gin because I had I sometimes say like during the week I don't want to drink alcohol, and then the restaurant they're like, hey, we have this gin here, it's non-alcoholic. I'm like, what, non-alcoholic gin? And I tried it, and it was really good. Like you had the same taste like a gin tonic. I don't know if it's full of chemicals or what, but I think it's just boring if you don't. I have a friend that doesn't drink alcohol, right? And that's just fine. He tried it, but he doesn't feel it. He doesn't want to. He just doesn't like it. But and I can understand it too. But sometimes if you just drink water, like or like tea or coffee, it gets kind of boring just to taste. You know, like that's why.
And you're out of sync with the vibe.
Exactly. Yeah. So I would be up for it to have like because I drink sometimes not alcohol-free beer, but then I'm not a beer guy so much. So I would be totally up for like a non-alcoholic gin
Yeah, I want
or
to try
vodka
this stuff
or
like in
whiskey.
public.
Yeah.
I went out with a couple of friends, like, and one of them ordered. Yeah, no, they're like, yeah, they didn't say they were sober. They're saying like, I'm not drinking. I don't know. They had some term for it. I was like, oh, and they're like, yeah,
You
I
mean
just
the LA
decided
sober? You know what
LA.
LA sober is? I told you.
Well,
I
like
told you
weed,
about this,
but
right?
no, this guy was
No,
he became
no. Yeah. Anyways,
sober, and he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, he ordered this drink, and I was like, oh, cool, yeah, and it was gin. So maybe gin's like the popular one that's for the.
We should definitely try it when I'm back in LA because I want to try just to try to taste.
No, we should go to the store and get a bottle.
Buy
and
a bottle. Yeah, exactly.
I have all the drink shaker stuff, and we can make like.
Hey, we have our first sponsor, I would say.
Let's go. Let's get a sponsor. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He should sponsor the pod.
Okay, let's do it.
Why not?
That's our first sponsor.
That's it. That's our first.
They don't know
sponsor.
it
It's
yet.
not the ice cream. They don't know it yet, but the first.
Well, we'll just be like, hey, so we have this podcast. It's trust me, it's
promoting
huge. Just give me this bottle, and we'll totally post it. We'll just give this to us for free.
Yeah,
and we'll drink it
and give us a link. Exactly. Yeah, give us a link, and your sales gonna explode. Yeah.
Like, get out of here, you suck. They're not gonna give us anything.
No, so and then I mean, right now we're still in the process of. It's really the final songs now, but it's about finishing the album of Joplin right now. So I'm still mixing.
Keep canceling our recordings. You're like, I'm still in the
studio. I
know,
yeah, because she's also changing out some stuff. Like, you know, and I mean, diva. We can talk about this. It's no, it's. I don't think it's a diva. It's a thing always in art between.
I'm just kidding.
The perfectionism and the balance between like being. I always talk about it's like being either process oriented or like goal oriented, right? And ideally in a team, you have both, you know, like you should be process, you should be like, you should love the process of creating and having fun with it. But then also at some point, you need to finish things, you know? And I always feel like you need to finish things. Nowadays, it's a lot about quality, of course, but it's also quantity, you know, like to basically release a song a month and all that stuff. You know, we talked about this. This helps nowadays to, especially if you're a newcomer, to break and to build your brand. Consistency, right? So it's always that balance between the perfectionism, which is sometimes actually sometimes it's insecurities of artists, right? They say, no, I want to make this perfect, but perfect for who? You know, like and who's deciding what's perfect? And in the end, like, do the normal people, listeners, really hear the last 5% or not? You know, that's there's a whole discussion.
Once you start losing the instinct of like when to stop is when you get lost as an artist. Because
I think so too. Yeah, that's a good
there's an instinct of being like, it's done.
Yeah.
When you lose that, either it's something that shouldn't come out, or it's you're kind of like you need to take a break.
Or you keep doing it more, and then it gets worse and worse. I mean, we all know this in the studio. No, like
what's the German word? Make it better by making it worse.
Verschlimmbessern, yeah, verschlimmbessern, Verschlimmbessern, yeah. So basically, it's you know, sometimes I think there was a saying. I think it was Pharrell or something, like sometimes in the hip hop world, you do a beat, one bass line, and some guy starts rapping, and the whole vibe is there. The whole studio is jumping, and everything's there. And you capture it, and then you think like, okay, let's do it for real now. And then you really break it down, you add stuff, but the vibe was there all along. So you're just basically now destroying the whole vibe and just
then
killing
you're done.
it. You know? Like, so you're actually done. You know, like if the whole studio, everyone's jumping and there's magic and it's captured, the 80% are done. You know, you can fine tune a little bit, but don't destroy what made the people jump up in the first place, obviously. And that's a really tough thing to do, obviously, to keep. I
mean, you see the great producers in the room who are like, "Stop! No, don't do that. This is it." Like they don't like, touch it. They know when it's like they'll like yell at you. They'll almost yell. I mean, the first guy I worked for, he used to yell. He'd be like, "Stop! This is it. What are you doing? Don't touch it. Don't touch the fader. This is it. Like that's the take." Like, and then you're like, "Oh," and everyone's like, it kind of like tense, but they have an instinct for that. Of knowing like
that's like Rick Rubin. I think that's the only thing he does really. He sits around and controls the vibe, and when he feels the vibe is right, boom, cut, done. You know, like That's the goal. But I mean, that's easier said than done, obviously, and that's also different from genres. You know, like in like more pop or hip hop, like you can make tracks like hits with 3 sounds in a way, right? In the electronic world, you could do too. There are things, but if you do specific other electronic music, I always call it like you need a second layer of production. You even need a third layer. You need stuff that you just feel but don't hear, you know? So I feel like that stuff, that's where you put in the vibe and the production in there. And this can hardly recreate, because it's also a lot of instrumental music, you know? With vocals, different. Like you have a rap, a hook, you keep singing that hook, it's a hit, done, don't touch it, you know? That's it. Right. It's written, you know? And electronic, it's different, yeah? So basically, and then now we're thinking about, I mean, we can talk about this too, like how do you roll out an album nowadays, right? I mean, there's all these things like
you just click and pray.
Yeah, exactly. I guess exactly. Drop and pray.
Here we go.
But the thing is, no, I mean, there's this whole discussion about like, you know, like why do people even do an album nowadays? You know, like a lot of newcomers I don't think they should do an album, because an album is like, if you really have a little bit of a story to tell,
in a way.
Yeah, it's a dead format in a way, but also like
someone texted me, an old friend from Vancouver, and they're like, "Hey, can you send me like your top albums from?" I'm like, "Albums? I'll send you a playlist." Like, what are you talking about? My top albums?
Yeah, that's the thing. But then it's also like, here's an interesting thing in our genre, in the more like serious or like electronic world. It's still like a thing, like if you're considered an album artist, you're rated automatically higher than like just a DJ who just does random singles, even if the singles do really well. Like to create an album and have a body of work and really present an album too. It's mainly more like, not DJs barely do albums, more like electronic live acts or bands or whatever.
It's a good artistic expression still, and it's it's an important piece, but it doesn't like. You kind of need to build yourself as like, it's almost like comedy. Like you can do 5 minutes, then 10 minutes, then 15 minutes, then 20 minutes. And then you have an album, and that's like, okay, wow, like they have an album.
That's the special then, I guess, right?
Yeah.
The album is in the comedy, that's the Netflix special in a way. That's the album right there. Yeah.
It used to kind of be an audio album was the first step, but then now it's like, well, why would you bother recording the audio album if you're you might as well at least record the video. Maybe you have a special, or maybe you have clips from it, but
I see every comedian.
It'd be like if we recorded this podcast only audio, it'd be like, well, why would you just deny the video? But then I was thinking some of the podcasts I listen to, they're audio only.
Only audio,
wow,
right?
Really, that's really cool.
Yeah, but I guess, I mean, we talked but also Spotify is going to do more video in the podcast now, right?
They're going to lean into that.
Like Joe Rogan, they lean into it because it's all audiovisual entertainment in essence, right? So basically the album we're talking about, like, it's the same discussion again. How much do you need to do push marketing? How much is really pull? Yeah. Like, where do you really want to invest? Do you want to pay all this promotion? But what kind of promotion is it? Like, do you do club promotion? Do you do radio promotion? Do you do like specific DJ promotion? And then marketing. Okay, what does this mean nowadays? Like, do you spend a lot of money on Instagram ads, but then it's also almost feels fake and you reach the wrong people? Or like, there's so many things you can do and can't do, but so many things you maybe shouldn't do in a way. So I think like the old saying in a way, like the best marketing is still in the product nowadays, right? So if the song, the product, the show is great or exceptional and better, that's your best marketing. That this will create and open all the doors.
And the tracking ads that like someone who like went to Joplin's site and then show, like, I don't know how they I need to learn more about that, but then like they'll pop up like
that's basically
it'll like, hey, you saw Joplin. Then they'll be like, hey, Joplin's album. Like anytime I visit a site for anything, I go somewhere else and I'm getting ads for it.
Of course,
this marketing person told me like Google, you need 7 times. Like you have to be shown the ad 7 times before you click it.
Yeah,
I was on a really cool. It was a call with Eventbrite, so I was talking to one of their senior marketing analysts, and they were breaking down, and it was good. It was really good information for all types of marketing, because they were just like, hey, like pay attention to like the title. Hey, add this to the title. Hey, look at your description. You're kind of missing this. Hey, look at this. When you click on the thing, this is 2 clicks. This should be 1 click. And it's like just like refining all that little stuff that really matters.
But you can also get lost in it, and it matters. But then also, that's what I mean. Like in the end, like I sometimes feel like if you just that's a theory. Like if you just write or create a phenomenal song, like something you hear once and you're like, what the hell? I would need to listen to this again. Or like, where can I hear this, buy this, play this, whatever. That's the best. I mean, that's obviously you can't do this all the time, but that's the best marketing rate, because then you can see, and that's one, like a music manager told me, like, you just keep dropping singles. That's what we're going to do. Like we're going to keep dropping singles very soon. And from May on or June. And then you can tell immediately after 1 week how this nowadays with all the statistics, how the single's doing. You can see what playlist it gets added on. You can see how many private people like save the song in your playlist. So you can tell immediately if a song or remix, anything is doing better than the other ones, better than normal. And once you see that, then you can be like, okay, wow, this song seems to really blow up a little bit differently than the other ones. Then something here, and then you basically, if there's a little spark, then you can ignite it a little bit more and put a little bit oil into the fire, right? And that's when you do marketing and maybe spend some more money, maybe do some remixes, maybe maybe get radio involved if you can afford it, or have a little bit of a YouTube campaign or something, like create a music video. Yeah, I mean, it's back in the 90s a little bit. Like I remember this time when it was all vinyl in the club music, the DJs played white labels. They just printed up 50 from the studio. They printed up 50 vinyl and singles and gave it to a bunch of DJs. And if the DJs kept asking and playing, and people were requesting the song, they knew they were onto something. Then they would create then they would start to finish the singer actually, and then they would maybe make a radio version, and then some labels would be starting to call like, hey, I want to sign this. And then it could be an instrumental, and then the instrumental went really well and got released, and then everyone's like, okay, we need to have a vocal version. And then would get some writers and singers to do a vocal version. I can name there's hundreds of these dance records that started like this, and that's the true honest way, because it's really started from a grassroots cultural movement, from the club, from a white label to an instrumental to a radio version to a major label, and then to a worldwide global hit, and that's kind of
what is that
in a way that
today, like, because it's almost like
that's the
now
same.
There used to be like impressive things, like you're like, wow, your music's on CD. You're like, well, like that's just like it's on a CD. Yeah.
Someone spent money. I know.
And then it used to be like, oh, wow, your music is on iTunes. Yeah. Oh, it's on now. It's on Spotify, and now it's like, it's kind of like what you're saying. It's like, oh wow, you have an album, or wow, like wow, you are like verified on Instagram, or like, oh wow, you're like, there's just different. All that stuff gets. What used to be impressive gets pushed down, and then the new status symbols get elevated through like different cultural norms and different technology norms.
I think like I can name you 2 examples like for 2 different genres. I think in the pop world, when I talk to like pop A&Rs or like some major label people or like just musicians or producers, they're like, wow, this song is blowing up because it has a viral TikTok moment. That's the thing right now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Basically, people used like 100,000 people or millions used the same 10-second clip of that song to create like a dance
Doja
routine.
Cat.
And then that song, of course, like if it has 100 million impressions on TikTok or whatever, on the crazy number, then if 10% of these people then you convert to real listeners that stream the music and leave the app and go to Spotify to listen to it, then it's a real thing for the music business. But the truth is sometimes like you talk to kids, they just notice the 15 seconds of that song because that's enough for them. They just do it, and they never, and that's sometimes it's the verse. It's not even the chorus. So if they hear the song with the chorus, they're like, "What's that song?" Because they only know the verse.
Like
it's crazy. Yeah.
It's like new sync.
Yeah, it's just basically like an advertising sync, and you just know that one clip. And then in the club world, of course, I can tell you, which is more real. I feel like if key DJs that you send it to, DJs that play like in front of 10,000 people every weekend, and you say let's say you give it to 20, 30 DJs, and all of them play it, like let's say within a few weeks in their set, and there's like videos of people where you see people reacting positively to it, and then you see the comments like, "What's that track? Track ID." That's the term everyone uses in the club world, like track ID question mark. Like that's basically then you know there's a hype there. It's real. People are demanding the record.
With track
people
ID?
are wanting to know.
If I had the track ID, can I search that? Like, what do I do with that?
No, track ID is just a placeholder for, this is a white label. No one knows what this is.
Okay.
Only the DJ knows it. Yeah. So basically, even if you do a mixtape for someone and you play unreleased music, basically it means unreleased music. It's basically the term they use. Everyone puts in playlists now. It's like track ID. So you would see like song 1, 2, 3 is like these and these artists, these and these labels. Then track 4 is track ID, meaning like no one knows what it is. And like it's so interesting that. It's a question. It's basically who knows. Yeah, it's like, what is that? What's the track ID of that record? And everyone's like, I don't know. And but the thing is, like, people are looking. I think it's one of the good. That's the beauty of this genre is like that people looking for new music want to be entertained and they're curious. And even like people like while they're being wasted and on the dance floor, and they hear something exciting which they don't know. I guess a lot of people try to Shazam the track or record it on their phones. Yeah. And then later on want to try and find out what that record was. And so you build up hype about this record. Yeah. And sometimes like I've heard of a song like that was circulating on videos and everything for almost a year. So basically all these superstar DJs played a record for over a year. It's almost like too much because people are almost tired of it because they keep hearing it, but they can't. It's so exclusive that they can't listen to it. They can only listen to it when they're live and seeing the DJs, the top 20 DJs. And then these records get played after a year, then they get released to the public. And sometimes they do really well because the demand is still there. Sometimes they sort of get lost and they sort of lost the momentum because the track is now then old news because the star DJs already play other shit, like because they play 2-hour sets, there's 20 songs in there. And at least 4, 5, 6 records are new,
It's encouraging to think that like there's people who care still to like record it and like because you feel like you start to feel like when you're on the production end of making all this stuff that it's everyone, you feel jaded, like nobody
no
cares.
One cares.
It's disposable. It's just like you said earlier, it's only TikTok moments. But then you're like, well, no, there's a passionate group. Do they live like? Does this group of cares, do they live in a specific place like Discord or like some chat room that I don't even know about that you need like a weird German access code to get into? Like where no,
I mean, we're talking...
Or are these people just spread out all over the universe?
I was just going to say, like, it's not a German thing only. I think that's the beauty of it also. It's a global thing, like every city, I would say it's also very, I guess, more urban city-based thing. So I would say in every city there's a scene for that music. The scene sort of meets up at the events, and then after they share it on their socials. I think it's a more adult scene in essence. I mean, there's younger people too, obviously, but it's like they share all this stuff on Instagram mainly. I think YouTube a little bit. I feel like YouTube Shorts are getting more and more, but also back then it was a SoundCloud scene. Like people would basically then post their setup on Sunday.
Kind of dead.
It's dead and it's not. I just heard some new numbers. I forgot the exact numbers now. It's sort of been, there's a core base now in 2 genres only, really. I mean, it's called cloud rap, right? So it's in the hip hop genre. So I would say the most exciting weird stuff. Yeah, it's cloud rap, right? So I would feel like if you're like somewhere and you don't want to release on Spotify or there's some samples, nothing's cleared, you're still gonna post up on SoundCloud. And you can still get discovered on SoundCloud, I think, if it's something super unique, like what. And the same in the electronic world.
Because you can bypass distribution and like you just like
bypass everything, bypass rights and everything. Yeah,
SoundCloud really really screwed up their business. They owned it.
Yeah.
They owned it. They could have been like they really had something.
Yeah, but it was all about like what messed it up. I mean, it's a longer story and know some of the insights, but I think the main thing was that the right situation wasn't cleared, and I think you can only so long use all the major label content, not even only major or indie label content, and get away with it and not basically pay anything for it, like, and people just consume. So it was like a very hippie model in a way. It's very good for the consumer, still is, because you can just as all the music fans could live there, and you could share. And some of
too many,
especially like the artists built it, but but all the copyright violations, that was sort of basically they got on that too late, and then it was like. I remember going on Saga, you couldn't upload anything anymore. You couldn't listen to anything anymore because it was just like bombarded with copyright claims, you know? And I think that sort of killed the whole vibe of it. But now it's back.
They should almost cut like a new law where it's like, all right, this is like the Wild West or like the black market, like music. And you get to live on here for like 30 days. And after that, we're going to delete. You have 30 days to violate copyrights, and then after that, like we're going to take it down. You're not allowed to make any money off of it, but just to like let artists be artists in a way, and then
that could work.
I just solved it. SoundCloud, hit me up. I'll consult for you.
Yeah, exactly. You just solved the problem.
Fixed your
stuff. It's the same with TikTok now. They're talking about the rights owners because TikTok says 15 seconds or 10 seconds promotion. You know, of course, the rights holders now say no. You're making a lot of advertising money. Your whole business model builds on the 10, 15-second clips. So you have to pay up for that, you know?
Yeah.
And there's a big war between the platforms like TikTok or whatever and the rights holders, you know, be it major or indie labels for that matter. It's not only the majors always. So it's not only major bashing always. It's all the labels who own copyright. But
they have some deals, because, like they have back end deals because you're allowed to select the music and put it in. So
but there's an ongoing discussion, obviously there, right? And then I mean, so that's interesting to see on the Joplin news. What's interesting, I can't say the exact dates and festival yet, but we have a big show coming up in New York, which is great.
Nice.
And in the summer, and it's also we talked about. No, I can't yet. I think it's confirmed next week. Then I'll talk about it. But the thing is, it's a huge sort of festival. Like it's a bigger stages and everything. But it's like, as we talked about, like you always want to have the right promoters, right, in every city, in every market. And this is a promoter we've been sort of eyeing, and it was almost always like a dream to work with these guys, because then it means they do the best events that fit our genre the best. They do the coolest stuff. They also do different parties around the States and stuff. So if you want to get in with these folks, and
they're
then
the ones,
they sort of reached, they're the ones, and they reached out now to us. So that's a very good sign, you know. So it's a start or something. Now, as always, you gotta go there, do your thing. But that's a good sign, always, you know. Like we have that for the LA, I feel, the right people, and now these are two very important markets. Now we have
excellent. That's
something
great.
for New York, you know. So that's good. Yeah. So that's a big story. And then I mean, here I have a Germenglish one.
Oh,
I have actually two. I have two in one in a way. It's almost it's two Germenglish words that mean essentially the same. And I came up with the other one because I was thinking about the first one. Okay, exactly. So so here we go. Germenglish segment this week. So how do we do this? So I'm basically gonna describe it first, say the German word, and then say the literal translation. Right. So if someone's a total soft guy, like a wimp, and not strong and not a service, almost like a chicken, right?
Yeah.
We call him in German. We call him weichei, which literally translates to soft egg. So basically,
like an egg that's not fully cooked.
Yeah, it goes. It's like a soft egg. Like it's a weichei. Weich
so
means soft.
You're walking down an alley, a bunch of scary looking guys, which may or may not have German flags on their arms, start walking towards you, and you run away, and they're like, "That's a soft egg."
That's a soft egg. Yeah,
I like soft egg.
That's a little bit of a hard description, but yeah, basically, if you're like a little bit of a wimp, then you're a soft egg. You know, like, and then while thinking about
what about a hard egg? Is that something?
No.
Oh.
This is funny. There's no hard eye. It's only soft
egg.
Soft
a hard egg would be like,
wow,
he just punched that guy in the face for looking at his girl. That's a hard egg.
That's a hard egg. No, I think it comes from being a chicken, I guess. Like, and that's why it's a soft egg.
A medium egg. He got into the fight, but he diffused it.
Or he blocked one punch, you know, like
Wing Chun egg. It man.
So then I basically thought about it, and then a synonym for a German one would be warmduscher, which means exactly the same, like to be. And warmduscher means like a warm showerer, like you take warm showers.
So it is douche because douche is like French for shower.
Exactly, yeah, like
or bath.
Yeah, it's like
something.
A douche, like a warm douche. Yeah, like a warm douche.
Warm douche is going to catch on in the States. But what is it? What does it mean? That's warm douche.
A warmduscher. Yeah, it's like a warm douche.
Warmduscher is amazing.
Warmduscher. Yeah.
Okay, so
warmduscher, like you always take warm showers because you're so chicken, you can't take a cold shower. You know, like
hey, warmduscher. It sounds good.
Warmduscher, weichei. These are the two Germenglish words.
Warmduscher, weichei. It's like those are the fighting words. Warmduscher.
Yeah, it's like a double attack in a way.
Oh wow, that's a good one.
Okay, so that was my two Germenglish ones.
A double. You're almost giving the people too much. You gotta separate these Germenglish.
Yeah, because one came. I only thought of one, and the other one sort of flew in at the same time because they're synonyms.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then what else is new in LA? Enough about Germany so far. Okay. How's your job going along?
My no caffeine thing has completely died. I can't do it. I'm fully addicted. I'm back to it's impossible. Like I'm not willing to suffer the headaches, so I gotta have some sort of milligram.
But the headache is only 1 week, 1 or 3-4 days, and then you're done.
Then I'm done.
No, but I also started a week later. I couldn't. I just started drinking caffeine again.
I just can't. I think
it's tough to do.
I got to cap at 2 for a while and then taper because it's not. It
no caffeine is no way. Yeah.
No caffeine is no way. But am I going to be no caffeine, no alcohol, no nothing? I don't know. I mean, maybe.
Then you're like a warmduscher.
Is that warmduscher to do that? Softegg?
Yeah, I mean, come on. Yeah, you're softegg. You gotta man up a little bit.
But I'm manning up through working out. I'm trying to lose the hip gold.
The rest fat, hip gold.
Actually,
rest fat.
Yeah, since that other mirror I saw, I'm actually on a program now where I'm actually eating more like Tan. So now I'm cutting my calories down to 2,300, and I'm trying to lose half a pound a week for the summer.
See, there you go.
Yeah.
For
so no more constantly eating.
Yeah. I told you it's not good for you to constantly eat.
But I was always hungry. It was the workouts.
Yeah, drink up. And so, but how's the comedy? Did you do any comedy shows?
Yeah, I did a cool show where they put up all these stickies on the wall. And so before the comedians go in, they write they write topics and you put them on
I was just gonna say this.
You peel it off and you got to look at it and you have to talk about that. So that was really fun.
It's so funny. I was gonna tell the story now, so I guess my buddy stole it from this, or they stole it from him, because I have a comedian friend I wanted to introduce you anyways. Shout out to Shahak. He's pretty big in Germany, I would say. He does German language stuff. He's
the guy I was going to go to the comedy store for?
Exactly, yeah. Exactly, yeah. And then now he's back. I just went to his show, and he's doing really well. He has a sold-out German tour right now. But he also does German stuff and also English language. So he wants to expand more for the English side. So he's going to hit up LA soon, but I'll connect you and everything. But he might be actually a good guest too. Let's see. Yeah. I still have to convince him.
Yeah, we talked about having him on.
He has an interesting life story, yeah. Yeah,
and he's Germenglish.
I'll see if he's up for it. Yeah, and he's Germenglish or Germ-Israeli actually. So he has a different perspective of things. And he grew up he'll tell you about the story. He's Israeli, grew up in Germany, but in East Germany where there were a lot of Nazis and right-wing people. So he has quite some shit to
What if
tell.
all our guests are only Germenglish guests? That could be our thing.
What do you mean? They basically
they have to be German and English they have to exist in both worlds, like Joplin.
Both worlds, yeah. Yeah, I guess.
This guy. I guess we're done after that. No, but then we could aim for David Hasselhoff.
Yeah, or guys my buddies Malta,
Malta,
and Marcus and all these
There's
people.
There's got to be other Heidi Klum.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, there's so many German-English people in LA that
this is it. This is how we do it. Because who's hitting up Heidi Klum and being like, "Hello, V Gates, would you like to come on our podcast? It's about German and English. You can talk about Seal if you want. I don't that would be cool."
Yeah, I actually have a contact
Schweinsteiger.
Heidi Klum.
We could hit the whole German soccer team.
Yeah, but what does he do with English? Like, he's not in LA, right?
No, but I know his name. That counts. If I know his name, he's Germenglish.
Okay, that's good. So anyway, so that's funny with the concept there, because so Shahak, what he does, like, he also, like, before the show, people, he gives out like some pen and paper, and then basically they write down a problem, like that they want him to solve, like,
okay, like,
and
world
then
peace.
they put it in a box, yeah, and then they basically put it in a box, and the box is on stage, and then in real time he basically picks up the like a paper and reads it out loud and for everyone to hear, and then he comes up with a funny solution or like a bit for it, you know?
Yeah,
And that's a cool, because it keeps the comedy fresh all the time, and he can do. That's what he said. Like, if he does like a program too, where he has like a half hour, like an hour or pre-programmed type of thing, and he does a little bit of crowd work. But this is pure crowd work in a way. And then basically he says, like, the same people they all come back in 2-3 weeks to the same venue, because it's always new. Like, so it's a little. So normally he could only play in Berlin 2-3 times a year. This way he can play in Berlin every month. You know?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
So quite a good. Yeah. But then I think you got to mix it up a little bit. So ideally, you do your thing with Dante, and then you feel like because at some point, like, a lot of questions were the same ones. Like, I don't like the parents of my girlfriend. You know, like, how do I deal with my in-laws? You know, like, so it was a lot of relationship stuff, obviously, and it was a lot of.
You could have someone filter them for the best ones. That would almost make a better show. To be like, it's kind of like when they have they call into like CNN and they're like, they take an email questions. They're like, well, I'm not asking that. I'm not asking that. Oh, this is good. And they try to make it like a thing.
Yeah, but then you need someone, not him, because you want him to
like a co-host on stage to be like, hey, this is a good question from this guy over right here. He hates his date right now. He wants.
No, it's anonymous. Leave. It's anonymous, basically.
Okay.
Basically, just and then sometimes he's like, who asked this question? And then someone's chickening out, is like a weichei. But sometimes people are like, yeah, it's my question. You know, like, if it's not too embarrassing. Warmduscher.
Warmduscher.
So basically, yeah, but I thought it was a funny concept. I haven't seen it before. So,
were you going to bring that up anyway?
Yeah, I was gonna. Basically,
we're in sync.
I was like, it's a synchronicity moment, because I was gonna bring that because it just happened yesterday, and I was like, hey, this is cool. I gotta tell Latif about this.
Yeah.
But then they put it on the board, and then he would pick. Then he would basically pick which ones.
Well, there was like 4 or 5 comedians on the show, so when you go up, you just take the sticky note. The sticky note's like reverse written, and then you pull it off, and you just look at it, and you're like, oh. I mean, there were some typical ones like Donald Trump, Elon Musk, but then there's some that were more fun.
But it's just topics. It's not basically problems.
I like this better, solve a problem, because it's more.
Yeah, because it's more direct, and it's like, can you help me? It's basically he's trying to help people.
And of course, a comedian has advice. I like this actually better.
Yeah, so maybe. I mean, I guess it's his thing, and it's on the net too. So it's not
problem
like
solver.
It's like a secret. It's a secret, but. But I thought it was a funny concept, and I asked him why he does it, because it's like he can continue to play more shows in one city that way.
We should have him on soon.
People show up. Yeah, I guess
he could sit next to you, right?
He could. Yeah, he's in Berlin. He could sit next to me, or we can do it over Riverside.
Or he could be on his Zoom.
He could. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, he's somewhere in Berlin. I don't know where he lives right now. But he's actually traveling a lot right now, so he's not going to be in Berlin for another month because he's on tour. Okay. So we'll see. I'll hit him up. And he's also, and the best here, this is even better now, maybe some inspiration for you. So what he did, he said, like, because he pulls quite a lot of people anywhere, right? So he doesn't have to play in some comedy club which has a baseline of people. Anyways, he can just rent any place. Venue, so what he thought, because he also likes club music and he is a DJ, he's actually a musician and a music producer too. He basically said, you know what, I'm gonna have my show at a nightclub, and so he booked the room in a nightclub, cut a deal with the owners, and he did a show from like 8:30 to 10, and then right after the show, he basically, I don't know how it was sold, but it was, I guess, like a combination ticket or something. Right. Like, you could stay there, and then he would start DJing immediately, which is kind of early at 10, but then people would be there anyways, and they could go to a bar and have fun, and he would start DJing from 10 till 12, and then
I love that.
club opened up, and then the other professional DJs, whatever, came up, and it was a whole club night.
And then you can come by after if you're like, I'll just skip the comedy. I'll come to the show, and you can have a community.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's always right. Yeah. That was the Comedy Bunker. It was a show. It was a pre. I don't even. Did you ever come to it in the house?
I came to one. I think I was actually at the first one or the second one or something.
Okay, yeah. So it's like there's a pre-party with like music and food, and then downstairs there's a show, and then upstairs there was the after party, and that's what made it so special.
And the after party showcased some new artists too, then, right?
Well, the after party was just like, hey, hang out, music,
like a DJ hanging. Yeah. Okay,
but like I always wanted to like step it up to have the DJ to like really. Yeah. Do you think?
But I mean, that's.
You should DJ one of. Let's do it together. You should DJ the one. We'll do one at it somewhere, and we'll make them allow us.
Yeah,
DJ.
But you have to but you have to have like the good combination would be like Shahak. He can pull some different people that normally wouldn't go to a club to the club. So the club owners say, hey, that's cool. So bring in some new people. And then he can also DJ himself. So people stay because they're curious to see and hear him play, you know? So him DJ. So it's a thing like there's not, I don't know. Do you know any comedians or stand-ups that can do stand-up and DJ?
I can DJ.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Okay, good. Then you have to DJ.
I can play 90s hip-hop.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Then we do a 90s hip-hop party after.
I can transform.
Yeah, but I think it's a good concept. I thought it was a really good concept, like an idea.
And actually, at the show I had at the Cantors, I would DJ like an 80s hair metal. And I always wanted it to be like an after party where like people stayed, but then I also had that other feeling where I just wanted to leave. And that was those things were
that's in conflict. But I guess like it's also a good way because you can still talk to people, you still have something to do. You don't stand around awkwardly, you know, like and there's enough people that were interested to hear him DJ, and he did a really good set. It was fun, you know, and he played back to back with a friend of mine, and then he basically always had time to chat to some people, but he was also still busy DJing right after his comedy thing, you know, which is kind of cool.
Totally. But
writing down a problem, that I think comedy in a nightclub, that's pretty cool. Like in an actual night techno club, you know.
Man, we said this before, but we're really nailing this yin yang. Like you're wearing black, I'm wearing white. Your background's white, my background's black.
Yeah.
I have face hair, you don't.
But we do it effortlessly.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna run.
It just happens.
I was thinking like I need like a more identifiable image. I'm just gonna roll with this. Yeah. I'm gonna wear white all the time now.
Yeah, that's the thing. And then I just wear black anyway.
Black. So I can't wear white pants. That's just too Italian. But like
white pants is a little bit.
It's a little much.
It's a little bit douchey. Yeah, it's a little bit douchebag.
Warmduscher. Is duschen a word?
A little bit warmduscher.
Duscha?
Duschen is a verb. Yeah.
But does it have the same thing as like in English? He's a douche.
I guess that's where it comes from because douche. I think isn't that French also to take a shower?
It's French for shower, yeah. But then it's also
so German service. Duschen means like taking a shower.
Yeah, but do they like call people? He's a douchen.
No.
Okay.
Warmduscher. Yeah, of course we call. Yeah, I mean if you call someone a warmduscher, that means like he's a warm shower, a warm douche.
Yeah, he's
guy,
soft.
You know. Yeah, a warm douchebag.
Yeah.
So it's definitely in the same family.
It's so good because it's perfect Germenglish because it works in both worlds.
There you go.
Yeah, warmduschen.
Yeah, and then here's another funny thing that we met this. There's a startup here. I mean, everyone's trying to come up with new instruments all the time. But what they do, I don't know if maybe you see a use case with. How do you think? So basically. They invented like a controller, like a Midi controller. Midi, for the people who don't know, is basically like a.
Is Midi still this ancient thing that survived? Midi's like the cockroach of the internet of the studio world. How is it still a thing? It has no bandwidth. It's insane.
Yeah, but MIDI is still a thing. But I mean, nowadays MIDI is in a USB-A or USB-C controller. Yeah, but it's still called a MIDI controller. Like it's basically a controller where you control like a software who does things like a software synthesizer, you know, like, and you have MIDI controllers with buttons and faders and everything. But what they invented, it's like basically like a watch like a Fitbit thing, like you can wear it on your wrist, and then basically you control. It has 7 notes or 7 movements. It's like up, down, side, twisted, and attack left, attack right, or so. And those ones can then, with the receiver, can be programmed and mapped to anything.
So as you move your hand?
Is as you move your hand, exactly. So basically, we did a little demo. It's funny, like you can basically, while you raise your hand, like the filter is opening, or there's reverb.
Oh, so you can be hands-free.
Music. Yeah, exactly. So you don't have to mix on the mixing board to add effects or filter and all this stuff. So you do it with your hand.
Well, soon it'll be like, what's that Minority Report? They'll pull.
Exactly. Yeah, I guess, yeah. Like holographic.
Yeah, and you'll see it, and you'll be like moving planets together.
Yeah, so basically, and it was kind of funny. I don't know if it's a use case, because like people would actually, they wouldn't probably understand that the thing is on your hand, and they would be confused that you control the music with your hand. But in a way, it's a fun thing, because you can control the music and the feeling, the vibe with your movements. And
you start taking a sip of your drink, everything goes weird.
I know. It's like the filter closes.
I don't know if you remember this, but there was like a demo of like, this is probably 20 years ago, of this like a new way to do a mixing console, and it was based on planets on this big table. And so like there was the sun, and that was like that's like the loudest.
Yeah, of course I remember this. Yeah.
Point. And then you would put like another planet on it, and that would be like you put it to the left for the left side, right to the right side. And then how close it was is how loud it was. Yeah. I just thought, I'm like, that is amazing. The best, yeah. Why did that not take off?
I know exactly what it is, because a friend of mine had one, and I played with it on stage, actually.
Oh, wow.
But now, of course, I forgot the name. I'll find out till next time. There's a video of me playing this thing on YouTube.
Oh, can you get it? And I'll cut it in?
Yeah. Okay. I can. I'll make a mark. Reactable. It's called the Reactable.
Reactable. Yeah, Reactable.
Yeah. And I'll send you. I don't want to mention the show where I played and everything, but I'll send you the link where I played.
I'll make a note at 50.
Make a note, Reactable, because it was kind of wild. But the thing is, anyways, like it didn't take off. It wasn't. It was because I think it was kind of buggy.
Maybe you're the one who showed it to me back in the day.
I think so. Yeah, we're talking about this is 2000. Yeah, 10 years ago. Probably. Yeah,
but more.
I played with the Reactable. Yeah.
I mean, other than like, it makes so much more sense than a bunch of faders. Maybe I don't know.
I don't know, but I think with the hand thing there, also dancers use it. So basically, they can trigger like screens. You can also trigger video editors. So imagine like a dancer, like a Blue Man thing. Like you do this, boom, then all of a sudden like the screen appears red or explosion or something. So it's kind of cool. There's almost no latency. So it's
you give it to someone in the crowd, like a fan, and be like, "You control the bass now." They're like,
yeah. And you can turn it off and on to avoid things like when you take a drink that the music changes and stuff.
Yeah. Or the crazy person you give it to, you're like, "All right, that's enough." You cut them off.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to the guys. The thing is called Instrument or Things. So it's a little bit like
you work them into the bands that you get for the club, and then you're like, "All right, number 43, it's your turn."
Oh yeah, that would be cool. But the technology is kind of expensive still.
Hey, it doesn't matter. There's no, you can't put a price on this.
Exactly. Especially, imagine you like a festival, or like a big EDC, and you can buy like a special package, and you get a controller with it. Like you pay whatever $20 more, and then you can get the chance to control the music in one song.
Yeah,
with your hand. I mean, that would be dope.
That would be cool.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. Have to talk to them. Maybe that's an idea. Yeah.
We're changing.
I mean, we just gave it away.
We solved festival interaction. We solved SoundCloud's problems. I mean, we solved everything. Warmduscher.
We solved everything. Like warmduscher. I think now it's time for the real sponsors to get on board.
Okay, yeah. I'm telling you right now, that's our goal for the next. I want to sponsor before episode 20. So let's do it.
Okay,
this is great, dude. We got our episode 10. I think every Zoom episode has been better than the last. So, or it's not Zoom. Riverside. Riverside, come on. I'm gonna hit up Riverside too and be like, yo, exactly. If you want us to keep using this software, you gotta.
There's no alternative really, but oh shit, I gave it away.
No. Now we have no negotiation.
Exactly.
You can't negotiate if you're not willing to walk away.
Yeah, I know. We just lost our leverage.
We're gonna be on FaceTime, like trying to make it work. I used to record on FaceTime and then screen capture, and I'd forget that it would also capture the cursor, so the little arrow, And then people would be like, why can't, and they leave in the comments on the YouTube, I can't move the arrow. Like, oh, this is driving me nuts. And I was like, oh, sorry. I didn't think the arrow. And sometimes it'd be like on their face.
By the way, I hope you recorded the audio nicely because I forgot to record my backup audio. So I hope this one works. All
right, but I'm sure it's great.
Anyways,
I got to run, but like, let's follow us at Techno Hollywood Pod on Instagram.
Yes.
On all the platforms. You got to like and subscribe and leave some comments, ask questions, interact with us. We want to be in your lives. So thank you so much.
We want to solve problems. Solve problems.
Solving problems. Eventually, when we get more people writing in, solving problems would be fun. Like ask
That's
for Germenglish advice. It'd be pretty great.
We're there.
And they could ask questions in German and you could translate for me.
Oh, of course, and I can translate it in Germenglish.
Yeah, we have their guest list coming up with Heidi Klum. Anyone who speaks German and English, even if you work at Lufthansa, we'll take you. The bar is low now, so get in while you can.
Exactly.
And follow me at Latif Tayor and Tan at
Chi Thanh Berlin.
Okay, cheers.
Perfect. Cool. You see.